So this is my Minecraft city, and I'm building this pier called, Thunder Pier. But it's lacking a lot of fun, so today I'll show you some cool survival friendly minigames that I'll add to my pier and that you can add to liven up your own survival world. So let's start in creative for our first idea. Now the basic concept is for a line of targets. These targets will move down randomly for you to hit a bullseye. After you hit a bullseye, the target will move back up for a different target to pop back down, and so on. Seems simple enough, so let's get started with the randomizer. For this system I'll be using an item sorter. So the dropper spits out a random one of 9 blocks, which then travel along the hopper line and are collected when the hopper below has the matching block type. With this number of items in the hopper, the comparator reads 1 signal strength. But with 1 extra it reads 2 signal strength, causing the piston to retract. Now let's add the targets. So the tricky thing with this is forcing the bullseye, because just hitting the target would be a bit too easy. So we need to use a comparator to compare the signal strength from the target to that of another power source, and it will only output if the signal strength from the target is greater. Great! But how do we fit in so many comparators in the small space? Well, we don't need to. You see, only one target will be active at a time, so we only need 1 comparator. But we need to account for the fact that the target further away will produce a weaker signal strength at the comparator. So we need to match this by having the secondary line also decrease in signal strength, as I've done here, by moving it further away in conjunction with the corresponding target. That might seem a bit complex, but it will make sense. When the signal passes the comparator, it will briefly unlock the hoppers, allowing the extra item to flow out and the system to reset. We can start the next cycle by connecting this line to the dropper. Here are some screenshots of the build for you to copy. Now I'll quickly build it in survival. As you can see, I've gathered the resources here. And here we have the mechanics working, and this only took about 45 minutes to build. So now as an example, you could decorate this as a pop-up stand, like I've done here. So we have a striking red colour palette with a red and white cloth canopy over the top. And I've added some pots and lanterns at the front to give the impression of prizes. Now for target games, you'll need a lot of snowballs. So a nice idea to add detail to your park is to add a snow kiosk, like this. Very simple so far in just a 3x3 area. I'm going to push him around a bit to get him behind a glass counter. Then I'll add some trapdoors and signs to the front. Dyeing and glowing them with some extra lines above and below then adds a lot more interest to your build as people walk past. Okay, now on to the next design. This is good if you want a much simpler target minigame. This is going to be a reaction-based minigame where a trapdoor briefly opens, allowing the target to be hit. However, you only get a short queue before it opens. So let's quickly design it. The important thing to note is that a non-stackable item gives a comparator signal strength for free, like a sword. So this will be our randomizer if we attach it to a hopper clock. Now this gives an occasional pulse to allow us to shoot the target, but this is on a delay so that we get a quick warning from the redstone lamp. It's easy to adjust the difficulty by adjusting the delay of the trapdoor with more repeaters. Right now in survival, we've got it built in this corner here. Luckily, because it's quite symmetrical, we can copy the circuit to produce a second module for multiplayer. So if you look here, here's all the redstone and some screenshots for you to build from. So now the name. There's bamboo. So I'll call it Bamboo Shoots. And done. Okay, back in creative for our next 2 designs. I'll start by making a claw machine, basically making use of this mechanic. Then if we have a piston to the side, we can make it so that you have to time it perfectly to get it across so that the sand falls down. Now for a simple version, you can have it fall 1 block and just reset it with a piston to the side. But that's a bit anticlimactic, I don't know why, which is why I've designed this reset circuit to extend it 2 blocks up. Looks a lot cooler in my opinion. So here are some final screenshots of the redstone for if you want to build it yourself. For decoration, I'll first cover the redstone on the sides. I'll also put a glass window in front. Then to indicate it's a claw machine, let's add a big claw. There we go, on to the next design. Before we get on to building my favourite minigame idea, maybe consider subscribing and stay notified to support the channel and so that I can continue making progress on the city as well as useful tutorials. Thank you very much. Okay, on to design 4. This is my favourite game idea, combining a sorting game with a fun timing game. So our basic premise is to have blocks falling from a tower into a water stream. Then you need to time the piston correctly to bounce certain items over the hopper. But already you can see we have some interesting challenges. Starting with the water tower, we need to fit in a clock and dispenser in a 3x3 area, without powering any trapdoors. Yikes. Luckily I've got a design for you. Using a hopper clock here, then a dispenser to the side and a water stream the other side, all of which can be covered with trapdoors. The dispenser and the water stream ensure the items are consistently directed to this corner and then drop down, otherwise the randomization of the dropper causes some items to miss the water stream, which is really annoying, as you saw earlier. Next, we can't use a button because the pulse is too long, so I'll replace it with an observer, which gives a 1-tick pulse. This is too short as it's spitting out the block, so we need a 2-tick pulse. And here's a circuit I've devised to give an extra 1 tick of pulse by adding a 1-tick repeater to this one-way circuit, which only allows the signal up the glass, so that it doesn't feed back into the repeater. So now the final design. Here we are. I've added this start-stop circuit with an observer and a copper bulb, such that the hopper clock can be started by moving the set of walls up and down. Quite cool, and better than my original idea of a target block. Right, let's start the circuit. Oh, come on. And now we can start deflecting certain items over the second hopper. Now here are some screenshots for you to build from yourself before I get building in survival. Alrighty, here are my resources. Let's get cracking in this space here. I did need to extend the pier slightly, but I think it adds more depth. And now we've got it in with a counting system as well. So how this counting system works is we've got 2 horizontal hoppers. Any copper or iron ingots get immediately sucked down into the hoppers below. But any gold ingots get pushed forward into the front hoppers, into the right or left chest, showing the number of successes or fails respectively. To indicate this while you play, I've got some comparators hidden under the gold pile, which power a note block when the gold passes through. You'll notice most of minigame design is just aesthetically hiding your redstone. Now for the name. For a generic Wild West theme, I'll go with Gold Rush. Let's add in a wooded area to fit the theme, and thematic signs go a long way, as I said earlier. Caution, water tower, gold extractor. Finally, this is a bit of a sneaky one, but I'm a bit of a builder, so for you builders out there, let's design some realistic bumper cars. I know, this one doesn't technically function, but if you're building any sort of funland or amusement park like me, it really elevates the area to have a blend of minigames and realistic attractions. So here's our basic bumper car, consisting of 4 stairs, 2 doors at the back and dark oak signs all around. Next, Fred had the idea to add some glowing effects around the edge, which you can copy and paste for each sign. Then we basically want as much chaos as possible with some alternating colours and intentionally non-matching colours thrown in. Finally, we decided to add the pole in the corner that connects the car to power in the wire mesh at the top. So there we are, 5 things to add more fun to your Minecraft world. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please let me know what you think down in the comments and make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future city videos on our river expansion and the beachside area. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.